Hey folks, thanks for joining us again over at the Hearing Club, where we talk about everything to do with hearing aids. My name's Brian, and today we're going to actually talk about something that just absolutely drives me crazy as a hearing aid practitioner. And that, my friends, is going to be the topic of hearing aid programs or hearing aid presets. And they could be super helpful, and I bet you don't even know that your hearing aids have this ability hidden inside of them, not activated by your hearing care professional, or maybe you have them and you just don't know how to use them. So what are they? How do they help you? How do you use them? That's everything we're going to be talking about in just a few seconds. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. So basically what a hearing aid program is a preset of different settings designed to help you in different listening situations or different listening environments. So you can switch to these different programs, or I like to call them modes, because they're different modes for different situations. For example, your hearing aids can go into a restaurant mode, an outdoor mode, a lecture mode where you have a speaker up front and maybe you're at church. And what these different modes or different programs do is they optimize your hearing aids for these different environments or situations. Because as we all know, you're never just in one spot, and I explain this to all of my patients, and especially when I used to work at Beltone. When I worked at Beltone, when we set up hearing aids for somebody, we set them up and fit them in a nice, quiet office. And they had no idea what the hearing aids would sound like out in the real world, because that's all we had was a nice, quiet, soundproof office. So they put the hearing aids in, they say, yes, everything sounds great. They can understand me. But once they go out there in the real world, everything changes. You suddenly have tons of background noise, loud impulse noises like cars driving by, doors slamming, kids crying. It is just nuts. And most folks don't even realize that they have the ability to put their hearing aids into different operating modes or different programs. And that's exactly what we're going to talk about today. And they can help significantly. Some people don't notice a big difference, but a lot of people that I talk to, they do help and they do use these different programs. And your hearing aids can do it. Now let's pretend you are at a restaurant. I'm going to give you a perfect example. It's just you two sitting at a table and your hearing aids are picking up everything, all the noises from behind you, all the noises coming from the side, people talking, babies crying, maybe the waiter taking the order right behind you, and you cannot understand a word that your loved one is saying, and he or she is sitting right across from you. Well, that's where a program would come in handy. You could either activate it using the hearing aid, or you can use the app on your phone and just switch your hearing aids into restaurant mode. And what that's going to do is that's going to change the microphone directionality, and it's going to stop your microphones from picking up sounds all around you, and it's just going to focus the microphones in front of you and not picking up noises from the side and behind you. And when you put them in restaurant mode, suddenly your loved one's voice is more clear, because you're not getting all that noise from around you. You're getting the voice and the speech that's right in front of you, and not all that stuff on the sides and behind you. Now, one more example of when you'd want to use a different mode or a different program is the music program or the music mode. And I'm going to give you an example of what this is doing, how these different programs are optimizing your hearing aids. So in music mode, one of the options called impulse noise reduction gets turned off. Impulse noise reduction is an advanced feature in these hearing aids. And what this feature does is it recognizes loud, impulsive, or sudden sounds, and it does not amplify those sounds. The hearing aids are smart enough to realize that when a door slams or a car drives by and it's really noisy, it knows that that is a loud, sudden sound, and you do not need that sound amplified. Well, guess what? When you're listening to music, you want to hear those loud, sudden sounds. You want to hear those big crescendos or those big buildups when you're listening to a great song or a classical piece. So that's just one of the things that changes when you switch your hearing aids into music mode. You get those loud, sudden sounds. And it's not just that gets changed. It's changing other things as well. It's changing the gain settings. It's turning on and off certain features. And that's just another great example of why you want these different programs. Now we're going to talk about how to get those programs. Now we're going to talk about how to actually get these programs installed and activated in your hearing aids. If you want to try these out, all you have to do is make an appointment with your hearing aid specialist or your audiologist and tell them, hey, I saw this video on YouTube and they were talking about different programs. Do my hearing aids have the ability to have these different programs installed? And do I have the ability to switch to these different programs? And I guarantee you, your hearing aid specialist is going to say yes. We can install those. So these have to be added by a hearing aid specialist in the hearing aid fitting software. You usually don't have the option to do this yourself. I know with the Belltone, Resound, and Jabra hearing aids, since they're all manufactured by GN, they all use pretty much the same software to fit and program the hearing aids. They come with an additional program by default. And I believe the Philips and the Oticon hearing aids also come with at least 2 different programs by default, but a lot of the other hearing aids don't. A lot of the other hearing aids just have one program, which is either called the automatic program or your all-around or general program. And these are designed to switch the settings around based on which environments you're in, and it's supposed to do it automatically, but it is nice to have the ability to manually change these different programs yourself when you find yourself in a situation where you're just not hearing very well and your hearing aids aren't set up for that type of environment. To get these programs, all you have to do is go to your audiologist, go to your hearing aid specialist, set up an appointment, and ask them to install them for you. And usually with the hearing aids, you can have up to 4, 5, or sometimes 6 different programs. I know with the Rexton, Signia, Miracle Ear hearing aids, you can have 6 different programs. With the Belltone hearing aids, it's usually like 4 or 5. And I think with the Philips, Bernafon, or Oticon hearing aids, you can have 4 different programs. When you go set up your appointment, you just ask your audiologist or your hearing aid specialist, and they'll give you some options. And I'm going to show you guys what those look like right now on the screen. So here's a look at the different hearing aid programs that you can get on your Jabra, Belltone, or Resound hearing aids. You've got a automatic or all-around program, which is the default program that you're in all the time. You can also add a restaurant program, a ultra focus program, which just focuses on the speech that is right in front of you. It is basically speaks for itself. It is an ultra focus mode where you're having a one-on-one conversation. You are struggling to understand what the other person is saying, and those microphones are just zoned in on the person sitting right in front of you. There's also an outdoor mode. There's a music mode. There's different telecoil options, which we'll get into the telecoils in another video. That's too much to explain here, but it is actually a really cool feature that also a lot of people don't really know about. I know with the Rexton hearing aids, there's actually 3 different music modes that you can switch from. One of them is for listening to live music. One music mode is for listening to recorded music like a stereo, or maybe you're watching a YouTube video listening to music. And then there's even a third music mode for actually playing an instrument yourself. So if you're a musician, this is something that you might want to switch into when you're playing the guitar or the saxophone or whatever instrument you play. So that is how you get them installed. You set up an appointment and your specialist will do it for you. All right, so now we're going to talk about how to actually use and switch these different programs, or switch to these different programs or different hearing modes. So once you have them installed and they're done adding them for you, you have 2 different options. You kind of have 3 different options. With most hearing aids, there's accessories that are available. And one of those accessories is a Bluetooth remote. It looks something like this. And you can actually, with this remote, it's a very basic remote with big buttons, and you can change the volume on your hearing aids, and you can also change the programs on your hearing aids by just pressing one of these buttons. You could switch from your all-around program to your restaurant program or your music program. Some hearing aids have a television program. You can also switch programs by actually pressing the button on the hearing aid. Your hearing aid might have one button, it might have two buttons, and if that's the case, some hearing aids that have two buttons on each hearing aid, an up and a down, will allow you to change the volume on the left hearing aid and then the programs on the right. If your hearing aid only has one button, on each hearing aid, there's not an up and down, there's only one single button. Your options are a little more limited, but you can set up that one button to do several different things. For example, if you quickly just press and release the button, just a quick tap, you can set that to change your volume. You can also set your button for a medium press, where you kind of press and hold the button for maybe a second or two, and it will recognize that as a medium or a long press, and that will change your programs. And then the quick tap will just change the volume. And those are the different options that you have with the buttons on your hearing aid. Now, the third way, and my favorite way to change programs, is actually by using the hearing aid app that's available on your phone. Now, most hearing aids today have Bluetooth, and if your hearing aids have Bluetooth, that means you're able to connect your hearing aids to different devices like a remote or like your smartphone. And if your hearing aid has Bluetooth and you have it connected to your smartphone, you can download a hearing aid app. The brand of hearing aid determines which app you need. So if you have a Beltone hearing aid, you need the Beltone HearMax app, and that's available on the Apple Store or the Google Play Store, depending on if you have an iPhone or an Android phone. And I have videos on how to do this stuff. Now, once you have the app installed on your phone and you have the hearing aids connected on your phone, you can use your phone, you open up the app, and you have all kinds of options. You can change the volume right there from your phone. You can change the programs from your phone. You can do all kinds of stuff. Some apps even have an equalizer that lets you change the highs, lows, and mid frequencies that you're hearing. It is incredible. And there's even features beyond that, and we'll cover that in other videos. Now, if you want to check out a really amazing app, I actually have a video called about the Rexton hearing aid app, and it is absolutely amazing and gives you all kinds of control over your hearing aids. You can make adjustments. With the Rexton app, you can even tell your hearing aids that your own voice is coming in too loud and it's bothering you, and the app will actually reduce the volume of your own voice, because for a lot of new hearing aid users, that is a big problem and something that's very hard to get over. Now, again, I have videos on all this stuff. I don't want to take up too much time on this video, but I just wanted to show you guys and explain how you can use the app that you can download for your hearing aids to change programs. All right, so that's going to do it for the video, folks. I hope you guys learned something new. If you did, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, hit that little bell notification icon, and you will get notified whenever new Hearing Club videos come out. You won't want to miss them. And if you guys have any questions, please leave them in the comments. We love answering the questions. We love getting in touch with you, and let us know how we're doing with these videos. And if there's anything else that you would like to see that you just don't know much about, like the different technologies that are available, how the AI works with the hearing aids, which we're going to be getting into as well. And if you ever want to get in touch with us, you don't want to leave a comment, you can always email us at hearingclubonline@gmail.com. Thank you guys so much for watching, and you guys all have a lovely day.